Today's episode of The Mom Game is brought to you by our friends at Gateway Buick GMC at LBJ and Jupiter. I know that buying a car can be stressful, but not at Gateway because their slogan is, Gateway's got it. And just what does that mean? Well, it means Gateway's got a wide selection of new Buicks, GMCs, and GM-certified used vehicles, all competitively priced. Gateway's got it. In these busy times, you want a car dealer who makes things easy and convenient. Well, guess what? Gateway's got it. When you log on to gatewaybuickgmc.com, look for the Shop, Click, Drive button. This allows you to shop from the comfort of your home, and who doesn't want that? In fact, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, select your vehicle. 2, create your offer. 3, schedule your delivery. And on top of all this, Gateway Buick GMC offers complimentary car washes for life. So when you want a dealer who has it all, Gateway's got it. You can find them online at gatewaybuickgmc.com or shop in person at LBJ and Jupiter. GMC, we are professional grade. Experience the new Buick. And welcome into the Coppola Studios for episode 218 of The Mom Game. I'm Emily Jones. She's Julie Dobbs. We are here. No one's crying yet. You're still not crying, which is good. This is the second week of no tears.
Yeah.
Lots to discuss today in our Coppola Studios. And one thing that's fun that is going to intertwine The Mom Game and Coppola Studios Coppola period, is the fact that we're both going to be out at the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial Country Club.
That's right. Yeah, that's coming up, I guess, next weekend, which is also like the last weekend after.
It's Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day weekend, the weekend after school
gets
ends
out.
for a lot of people. And we have it planned, so we're going to go on Sunday, like, after all the festivities. So it'll be nice because we're doing all the kids' stuff, and then it'll be like, okay, let's go have some adult fun on that Sunday. But yeah, it's always a really fun golf tournament out in Fort Worth, and Francis Ford Coppola Winery is the official wine of the Charles Schwab Challenge out at Colonial Country Club. That is just this next weekend, and we love Coppola because of many reasons, because they present our Mom Game studio, of course, and they also support causes that we love, such as the Do It for Dirt Foundation, and they're going to be a part of that one once again with Emily and the Texas Rangers, and very cool that they're also the official wine of the upcoming Charles Schwab Challenge. So if you go out there and you are out at the golf tournament, following some golfers, partying, whatever, take some pictures with your Coppola wine and tag us, and we're going to do the same when we're out there.
Please do. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to go Sunday because Henry has a baseball tournament, and the way things work in travel ball, which you'll get this eventually if Ryder ever plays travel ball, you play 2 games on Saturday, which you find out usually what times those games are on Wednesday. Then you have 2 games on Saturday. Then you have to wait and see their pool play games. You have to wait and see how everyone else does. And then the seeding happens. And then the bracket comes out. And then you figure out when you're playing on Sunday. And you could play 1 game. You could play 4 games.
Oh.
So we are in a baseball weekend holding pattern on Saturday and Sunday. So I think what we're going to do is go out on Thursday while the children's are in school that last day, and have some fun before we pick the kids up for the final day of school. I think. I don't know. It's a rough plan. So.
Well, and then.
And I'm going to stop by in the Coppola tent.
Yeah, you
say
have
to.
to.
Say hi to our peeps.
And then maybe Sunday we'll work out with the schedule. Or
it
might get rained out, too.
Yeah.
Baseball.
Or, well, but if that baseball gets rained out, probably the golf is, too. But anyway, who knows what will happen.
Yeah.
Maybe you and Kelly can come over for a dinner.
Yeah,
We'll figure it
afterwards
out.
or something.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So anyway, that's that.
What are we drinking today?
So this is the Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh, nice.
I really, really like this one.
It's really good.
Really, really. I like all of them, but I really, really like it. I'm in a real Sauv Blanc kick these days.
Are you?
Because it's hot.
Yeah.
Well, I'll drink red wine at night, but usually if it's like hot or I'm outside, it's hard to drink red wine.
This is what she called the Porch Pounder, right?
Yeah, the Porch
and
Pounder.
This is Porch Pounder season.
Yeah, it is Porch Pounder.
We're entering Porch Pounder season. Francis Ford Coppola Winery, Geyserville, Sonoma County, California. Please drink responsibly.
Please pound responsibly on your porch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's talk about a little some sports scores, and we'll kind of quick hit it.
Why did you turn so red, Ashley?
I plead the fifth in
right,
all of
that's
this
all right.
conversation.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Whatever.
Sound responsibly.
Let's.
Also good advice.
Whoops. It is good advice. It is good advice. Do everything
Unless you're ready to be a mom.
And then
Mine straight to the gutter.
Yeah,
y'all.
yeah.
Straight to it.
Yeah, proud of you, Ash. Okay, let's get into a little sports scorts brought to us by our friends at Rev Entertainment. Also, another fun event coming up is the 2024 Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship, which is going to be at my second home, Globe Life Field, May 21st through 25th, also going on at the same time as the
May
Charles Schwab
is so
Challenge.
busy.
So busy, making it like last week's episode. So don't miss your chance to watch the best in the Big 12 battle it out at the home of the world champion Texas Rangers. 17 games over the 5 days, finishing with the championship game on Saturday, May 25th at 6 o'clock. Visit globelifefield.com/Big12 for more information to get your tickets. It's going to be awesome. They've made a tradition in the Big 12 to, have this tournament here, and the fact that now we're in a climate-controlled environment makes things even better. So yeah, super fun. I'm going to try to make it out to Globe Life Field as well to see when my little Red Raiders play and see if I can't catch them in action. So globelifefield.com/Big12 to get your tickets to the Big 12 Championship. Should be a fun event. So if you need a break from the heat because it's starting to get hot,
Yep.
go on out and enjoy some Big 12 baseball. So we can't talk too specifically about sports because so much is probably going to change. We're taping on Wednesday. We post on Thursday. The whole picture is going to change for the Mavericks and the Stars
Yeah.
probably after tonight. Especially the Stars. I think the Stars are going to totally put it away tonight. They've been clearly the better team in the Stanley Cup semifinals.
Yeah, I just
conference
say second
semifinals?
round.
Second
Yeah.
round. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to the conference finals next.
So dominant. They've been
Yeah.
so dominant.
They've played really well against Colorado, who is a really good team.
Yeah.
So they're just showing their depth, I think, in this series, and that's like what you need in the postseason. And so you never know like where the offense is going to come from with the Stars team, and then defensively they are not giving up much at all. And with Colorado, they have a few like star players, like I'm talking some of the best offensive players in the league. And if you can find a way to kind of contain them or shut them down, then that's like their whole game plan, right? And they've been able to kind of quiet those guys. And Val Nichushkin, it's so funny. Val Nichushkin is one of their top players right now, and he's suspended for the rest of this series, but he's a former Dallas Star. And he was supposed to be the next big thing for the Stars, and just never if I had a penny for every time that guy rushed the net and just overskated and wasn't able to get his shot off in time and didn't score, and everyone in the crowd was just he just couldn't figure it out at this level after the Stars drafted him, and it was oh man, he figured it out now with Colorado, and he's one of their best players, but now he's suspended, he's not playing, so they had to take a hit there.
Well, it sounds like he's got some serious demons.
He does, and he was trying to, I think, work through all of that right when he was entering into the NHL when he was here. And so when you're young and you're just getting into the league, it's even harder. And he still is battling those demons, Russian guy, and all of a sudden you get all the money and you get all the fame and everything else, right? But anyway, it's interesting to see him on the other side of things, but it's really cool. I mean, the Stars look really good.
Yeah.
I would expect them to close this thing out pretty easily as well, and then we'll see what they can do moving forward. It's crazy because it's been a long road already, but this will be halfway there.
I know.
To the Stanley Cup. So they're playing really well. Jake Ottinger is playing awesome. Tyler Seguin is destroying in this series against Colorado, which is so great to see. I don't know if you saw his mullet haircut he was rocking.
Yeah.
And he just got a new haircut and he had a quote. It was so cute. He's just the cutest, and I just love him. And he's been on our show with Kate, and I think hopefully when the Stars finish their season, they'll come back on, because now he and Kate are married, but he had a quote that all the media went crazy in the media that was I just wanted to see if my wife still loves me. So I had cut my hair into a mullet, and turns out she does.
Yeah.
Because he just randomly showed up in the middle of the playoffs with this ridiculous haircut. But they just seem like they're, in a good way right now. And I think they will close out this series, if not tonight, then in the next game.
Yeah.
And keep on going.
And I loved how I read, like I said, I don't get on Twitter a ton, but like, especially during sporting events, I will find myself scrolling Twitter because it's, especially because a lot of times
it's a great way to keep up if you're not.
It's a great way to keep up. And when so what happens usually is, or what's happened during the playoffs is I'll watch the remaining game, whether it's Mavericks or Stars, when I get home from work because they're starting so late. And at that point in time, everybody in my house is asleep. And
the late works out for you.
It works out for me. I'm not complaining. And so I'll just kind of scroll through because it feels like I'm kind of watching with friends. And so I saw your tweet that was like, the Stars are like so chill, so good. Like they're just really low key, like really good, which is super fun.
Because people have been watching for a long time are used to having a heart attack like every single game.
Yeah.
So it's really weird. It's like I can just flip around and flip back and you still have a lead and you haven't given up 3 goals in 2 minutes. And
I know.
Knock on wood.
I know.
But
super
it's
fun.
great. It's great. They're a good, solid, deep team.
Yeah. Well, go Stars. You're making me happy. Yay.
Emily's happy.
We're not even we're going to barely touch on the Mavs because who the fuck knows what's going on, because as we sit here right now, it's 2-2. Wednesday, they play game 5 tonight. So we could either be, by the time the show airs, be like the Mavs are going to slay it and go to the NBA Finals, or the Mavs are terrible and why can't they make free throws? So the Mavs just kind of are what they are.
Like, at what point are you like half of Luka? Like,
I know.
I think 75% of Luka is better than the average player.
I know, but
70%, 65%, 60%. But like, at what point do you stop playing that game? And you're like, I just feel bad for him.
I know.
And he's trying so hard to give
like
it all he's got, but he's got like multiple injuries listed. It's like hip, knee, ankle. It's like,
I know.
But that being said, I mean, they almost won,
Oh, they should have. That was painful to watch.
Yeah, they almost won at home in game 4. And now this thing's all tied up 2 games apiece. And you're giving Oklahoma City life as they go back home.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and one thing we can talk about, one team we can talk about is the Rangers.
Yes.
And they're not doing good. It's not good. It's not good. I mean, it's still a long season. They got 162 of these, but 5 straight is no fun. The good news is you lose 5 straight and you're still 500 because of the they built up a little in the bank early in the season for times like this to where you can afford, it's not ideal, but you can afford to have a skid like this and not bury yourself.
Yeah.
So they're still in a fine position. I mean, they have 13 players on the injured list. It's just brutal. Guys are getting put in situations they normally would not be put in. It's making Bruce Bochy's job very hard. There is zero sense of panic or anything. And I think so much of that comes from Boch. I mean, he just is so even keel, so level headed. I asked him the question the other night. I'm like, does it make, our offense has been struggling, which that's, and it sucks because we've been getting like fantastic starting pitching, even from like guys that aren't supposed to be, regular starting pitchers, Jose Urena. And I mean, it's just been like insane how good these starters have been. John Gray, Andrew Heaney, Michael Lorenzen. And then you throw a guy like Jose Urena in there and they've just been slaying it. And then you'll just get like 1 or 2 runs from the offense, and it's like, what?
It's not how it was supposed
that's
to.
not how it's supposed to be. Like, we're supposed to win these games handily. But anyway, that's the way baseball go. It's a long season. Shit happens. But Boch, I'm like, does it make things harder because you have so many guys who are proven hitters? It's not like, we've got a bunch of Wyatt Langfords, which I love Wyatt Langford. He's going to figure it out. He's a rookie, right?
Yeah.
But you've got Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Adolis Garcia, Nate Lowe, Jonah Heim. I mean, you've got these guys who know what they're doing and have proven it season in and season out. And so I said, does it make it harder? Because it's not like, these guys know what they're doing and they know how to do it at a very high level. They're just not executing it right now. And he's like, yeah, I mean, in a sense, yes, because
good question.
It's not like I'm going to go tell Corey Seager to like change his approach or his.
If you just practice a little more,
Yeah. Like of all people,
right?
Real, like Corey. Yeah. Hey, Corey, why don't you come in a little earlier? And
Yeah, it's like what I don't know. I guess that's why Bochy and them are paid the big bucks.
Yes,
Like they
but
figure it out. But yeah, it's like, what do you say?
I know. It's
What do
at
you
some
do?
point it's just kind of like and I think so much of it is mental and all that kind of stuff where Boach is like, I just am going to trust them and I'm going to let them do their job and I'm going to keep, putting them in the lineup in positions I think that they'll succeed based on matchups and all that kind of stuff. But Bruce Bochy is no doubt the best man for this job. I just, and I've appreciated my time with every manager that the Rangers have had that I've been around. I don't know that I've ever appreciated someone's demeanor and experience and like just managerial execution as much as I have Bruce Bochy. It's pretty phenomenal to watch. I feel like lucky that I've gotten to see it up close for a couple of seasons so far.
Like the confidence in
Just
that he knows what he's doing is the right move kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like he always has the right
100%.
answer.
And it's not always going to work.
Yeah.
But it's all based in experiences, knowledge, information, relationships, knowing his guys. I mean, it's really something really cool. Like I'm getting to see up close on a daily basis, like truly one of the best managers to ever do this.
Right.
And to be doing it in this day and age with such an overwhelming amount of information and the fact that he's an old school guy that's been around for a really long time, that's able to balance those things, to me is just so incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably interesting too, just like the juxtaposition, with Woody, right?
Mhm.
Like, and he had so many wonderful qualities.
100%.
But like a
And
rookie
I love
manager.
Woody. Yeah.
But like a rookie manager who maybe did a lot more second guessing and did a lot more thinking through this and that and am I doing the right thing or whatever. And then you have someone who's just staying the path.
He's Woody was drinking water from a fire hose.
Yeah, there was a lot going on.
It's you're talking about your COVID, so much going on. Like, a new manager. It's just so much info. It just was a lot. So and all that comes with it all comes with time and experience, and you can't have experience without having time. Like
but just different.
Yeah,
styles.
it's for sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's been
Yeah.
really fun for me, and I'm doing the Q&A for him tomorrow at the SMU
Are you ready?
Athletic Forum. He was so funny. He's like, will you send me some questions? I feel like this is going to be a big deal. And I was like, okay. So I sent him some topics and he's like, okay. And anyway, so it should be fun.
You do the same voice for Bochy and Nolan Ryan.
Do I?
And maybe
Okay.
George Bush.
Maybe all of them.
Just an observation.
Okay. Just an observation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
That'll be so fun.
It will be fun. It will be fun. So the Rangers will figure it out. Fingers crossed.
They've got time.
Check back with me next week. Let's get into. We're gonna talk. Speaking of Rangers, let's do a little TMG news desk brought to us by North Texas Food Bank, and it's such a news priority and hot topic is your first pitch at the Rangers game last night. So tell us about North Texas Food Bank. We're super excited to be partnering with them. We had, I forget her super fancy title.
Director of Outreach. Yeah.
We had her on
Erica
the show.
Yeager. She was great.
Yes.
She was great, and they're doing a lot of really cool things in the community, and we're very excited to be a part of their Taste of the Cowboys event that is coming up in June, on June 7th. But if you haven't watched our interview with Erica Yeager on last week's show, I think you should go back and do that because it was really cool to learn about what all North Texas Food Bank does. I didn't really have any idea until we went out there and toured it, but they're committed to a hunger-free, healthy North Texas, and we're excited to be partnering with them as they get ready for this upcoming 20th anniversary of the Taste of the Cowboys event. I've heard about this event. I hear about it every year. I know people who work on it. I see pictures of it every year, and I always have a little bit of FOMO, so I'm excited to go this year. It looks like a super fun night. It's hosted by the Dallas Cowboys out at their headquarters at the Star in Frisco, and it's coming up on June 7th. Just a few days after my birthday, so I'll probably be riding that birthday wave still a little bit, which means it's going to be a really fun night. Have a babysitter, and it's going to have all kinds of fun things going on. Tailgate food, there's going to be music, country music, and of course sports, being a Cowboys-hosted event, and of course it's all for a great cause. And you might not realize another thing that we learned last week is just how many people in North Texas are facing hunger, including 1 in 6 children. And this fun event is going to support the food bank's Nourish the Future program that targets child hunger. Since this event began in 2014, it's provided children with access to nearly 14.2 million meals, which is just crazy. We're very lucky, very blessed that our children wake up to food, that they wake up to breakfast and lunch and dinner. And unfortunately, not every child in North Texas does. And so we're happy to be partnering with North Texas Food Bank to help try and fix that problem. And it's great when you can go have fun and help fix a problem like that by having fun and donating money to a good cause. Learn more how you can join us at the Taste of Cowboys event and help fight child hunger at ntfb.org/themomgame. Go check it out. Join us at this fun event and come say hi, and we can eat and drink together.
Yeah, and I thought it was crazy. She gave us the stat last week about how you could fill Globe Life Field 16 or 17 times, 16 times with the number of people in North Texas facing like hunger. What did she call it? Food
Insecurity.
Food insecurity.
I told my kids that because I wanted them to understand.
shocking.
Yeah, and they were both just like,
I know. That's a lot. It's a lot of folks.
yeah.
So anyway, yeah, we're super excited about our new partnership with North Texas Food Bank to spread their message and awareness about exactly what they do and how we can all help. Speaking of Globe Life Field, there was a lot of people at Globe Life Field last night for Susan G. Komen night, raising. Listen, the pitch doesn't matter. The pitch doesn't matter. Raising money and awareness for the for the Susan G. Komen Foundation. You got to throw out the first pitch.
Yes.
It was a packed house because you were throwing out the first pitch.
Yeah, they all wanted to
And because they were giving away these
Oh my
Corey
gosh.
Seager replica rings, which, by the way, don't know that I've ever seen a replica, like a giveaway like that, that's so awesome.
Ash
Okay,
has
we
one
have
of mine.
Dude, they look so real.
They're so cool.
And they're like heavy. Like
Yeah.
it's not, I was expecting like a plastic,
So was I.
super
Like
cheapy
something
looking.
you get in like a Happy Meal.
Dude, these things were
Yeah.
legit.
Well,
So people were lined up at 8 a.m. When I got to work, I was like, okay, people are lined up to get in the parking lots like it's opening day.
yeah.
Okay, here it is.
I don't know if is this on the right camera? Yeah. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
well, and it looks a lot like yours.
It looks,
That thing's heavy.
it's heavy. It's a lot like
and it's
mine.
a Corey Seager one.
And it's Corey Seager's.
So we parked, like we got there early to get to batting practice,
Yeah.
and there were people
Everywhere.
all around, and Kelly and I were trying to figure it out. We were like, why in the world are there so many
Yeah.
people here so early at like 4:00? We had no idea. We didn't put two and two together until we walked up and asked somebody, and one of the Rangers employees was like, we're giving out the replica rings. People have been here, like you said, since 7 a.m.
Yeah. And usually, like, honestly, they'll like, I mean, if it's a giveaway that my kids want or something, like when I walk in to work at whatever time, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and I'll be like, hey, can I get a couple extra? And they're usually like, okay. They're like, oh, no. Like, these are in such high demand. Like, we're under strict direction.
Oh my gosh.
Do not give to anyone who does not present a ticket. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry,
Wow.
So anyway, it was a big deal. These things, and there's like 4 more the rest of the year.
Well,
And I think
I
they've
will
like,
say you do have
No,
a real
there's
one,
5
I do have
left.
a real one.
which is cooler.
I thought there was only, I think
They
there's
were
only 4
doing
left.
6 because I
Oh, is
didn't
there
see.
6?
Yeah, there's 6 of them because they have Bochy, Simeon.
But there's something that's different. They're like elevated. Like I'll
Yeah.
get the full soop
I
on
saw
it.
them. I saw a Facebook message or
Yes.
a Facebook thing about it.
So it's like but I think some of them there's some that are elevated. I don't know. We're gonna have to get the details on this.
Yeah.
Because there was only 15,000 of these, and then I think they saw the response was so overwhelming for a random Tuesday night against the Guardians. Like,
gonna do
why
more.
is everyone buying these? And people wanted the rings, so I think that they've taken note and are like they've ordered more so they can accommodate more fans with the rest of the giveaways.
Yeah.
I had a press release about it, but I
That
will.
makes
So
sense.
okay, so they have 6 of them. There's 5 left. So it's Seeger, Simeon, Garcia, Evaldi. There's a mystery ring, and then
Ooh.
Bochy,
What if that's Emily?
and Young, and Carter, and Heim, and Sobris. So there's actually way more.
Who's
than
the
that. So
last-
there's
Wait,
one-
what's the last one? Spores.
Spores. Thank you.
Did you call him Zobrist?
Soberus.
Soberus.
I don't know.
Okay,
goes to
that's
show
a
how
lot.
much baseball I watch. 2, 3, 4,
Okay.
5,
That is a lot.
6,
So they're trying to.
8,
mean, can't blame
9.
But
There's
listen-
10 of them.
Okay.
They had to have dropped some cash on those.
Dude, those are nice.
They're nice. They dropped cash
mean,
on them, but they're
even-
making
okay,
it back.
Oh, they're
So-
totally making it back. Parking
so-
was $80.
100%. So, but you need to expense that.
She's going to.
Okay, thank
Still
you.
just like
I might-
flabbergasted.
Yeah, no, everyone, no, please, y'all should expense. Okay, but I forgot. Oh, in the clubhouse yesterday. So I walk in and I always talk with our clubhouse guys, with Brandon Boyd and all my dudes in there, and I'm like, Brand, what's up? And he's like, oh, I mean, just getting all these replica rings for these players. So like the players are wanting them
For their families?
for their kids.
Because their kids didn't get it.
Because their
Yeah.
kids didn't get. I mean,
And
they had the option, but who's going to get a kid like a $75,000?
And it's so funny because, as we know, like, all that matters is your kids, like your family.
Right.
It's like if I got this really cool, awesome thing from work,
I know.
which is also like a little bit personified in my story about last night. Like, I had this really great opportunity, but like, I was just worrying about my kids the whole time. And like, Anna was like, why can't I do it? Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing? Why am I not
Right.
going out there? It was all about like,
Right.
But,
Yeah.
but my point being, like, I understand the Rangers players, like,
Yeah.
wanting something for their
They're
kids.
just like us. They
They're
want
just
free
like
replica
us.
rings too.
Even Corey Seager's like, what about me?
I I think Corey's good. I don't
Where's
think
dog?
Maddie was wanting a
Where's
replica
dog?
ring. I think she can borrow Corey's whenever she wants.
Yeah, she probably can.
Yeah, but I don't. It was funny. Brandon's like, oh, I'm getting these replica rings for these guys.
It was insane how many people wanted them. There were some people right behind us, and I felt so bad because it was a dad and his kids, and my kids had them,
I know.
and they were just like eyeing our rings the whole night,
I know.
and I wanted to give them to them.
Some lady offered money for. I was walking out with that one.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's not mine. Sorry, I can't.
Ugh.
But
Even
like,
the
they
lady-
they offered cash for it.
The lady at the vodka place where they only
What?
had pineapple neutral vodka,
Oh.
like she's checking us out, and she's like, if you've got any more of those, like, I'll buy it from
And they
you.
were willing to pay like
So that's why
pretty good money for
So
them.
they're selling them on
So
the
crazy.
black market.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
like
Yeah.
$200-300.
Okay, let's get to the real story. Come on, we're
Trying to bury it.
you're totally stalling. Okay, so you got the opportunity, which was so
It
cool,
was very cool.
to throw out the first
was the point.
pitch. It was Susan G. Komen night at the ballpark.
Yes.
First of all, let's lead with this. Almost $25,000 raised for Susan
Yes.
G. Komen, because what the Rangers Foundation does, which is amazing, is a 50-50 raffle. So basically, when you have that many fans there, you buy these raffle tickets, and whatever, how much ever the raffle accumulates, let's just say for this example, $50,000
Yeah.
worth of tickets are bought. Well, they split that in half. So $25,000 will go to the Rangers Foundation, and then $25,000 goes to the Komen
charity.
Foundation.
Uh-huh.
So we've been fortunate enough at the Durrett Foundation where they've done it for us as well, which
Awesome.
it's game changing. Like,
Yeah.
and Komen's a much bigger organization than Do It for Durrett, but I'm so grateful to the Rangers. And all that happened, like, just a little backstory, a few years ago, because the Texas had to pass a law to
I remember
make this,
because the Stars were in on all this
yes,
too,
to make this legal.
because
And
other teams
so-
were doing it. and-
Yes, and can you imagine how much money they've raised over the last several years since this became like legal for them
Yes.
to do it? So anyway, most important thing, $25,000 raised for the Susan G. Komen
Yes.
Foundation. You were the representative of
Yeah.
the Komen Foundation to throw out the first pitch.
Yes.
And I was so proud of you. You were so. It was so sweet when Chuck was telling your story on the PA, and Nathaniel O was like, "It's Julie," and I was like, "I know." And so anyway, but the pitch did not go well. It did not go well. I thought for sure there was zero chance you could do worse than me. I mean, it's a heated race at this point. We're gonna have to like side by.
It's a heated race.
Y'all are almost spot on. Right?
I'm gonna say mine's worse just because of the crowd.
Well, okay, no,
it's
but
worse because it's more embarrassing.
I'm gonna say mine's worse because I didn't have. You had so much more pressure, so much more pressure.
I'm on Emily's team for that one because you did have to do it at Rangers Stadium.
Yes,
but it's more embarrassing.
100%. You're more embarrassed, but my pitch was worse. That
Let me just tell you, like, from my perspective,
I
okay?
know.
So yes, the whole point of the night was not like how well can Julie pitch, and I know this.
No.
The point of the
But
night.
you want to, come on, you want
Yeah,
to do good.
Right. The point
Trust
of the
me.
night is
Feel you.
CGG come in and 10 years, like it was just amazing how it all like fell into place. And Joy Rich over at Susan G come in has been awesome and like
She's so
looping me
sweet.
in with them, and she's so sweet. And I helped chair their walk, and I love helping to spread the word about Susan G come in. They do wonderful things in the community, and I've always, like I've told you, like wanted to help kind of try to find, like identify with breast cancer, and I didn't know how, and it's been great to align with them. Like it's
Yes.
been really good because there's a lot of people who are affected by this freaking terrible disease, including my mother-in-law who's no longer with us. So I want to do whatever I can, and so I was so happy to help in anything she needs. And so she asked if I would do this, and so I was like, okay, yeah. And so, you know, I throw the football with Ryder all the time. I never really throw baseballs, but we went out with my cousin who's was a pitcher in high school. And when he was in town, he was like, well, why don't we just throw it? And I'm like throwing it, and they're like, you're good. Like, you've got it. Like,
Yeah.
like, I was like, okay, yeah, like I've got it. And then the morning of, I was like, Kelly, I probably should do this one more time and like practice. So I go throw with Kelly yesterday morning, like 8 a.m. after we dropped the kids off. And he's like, Jules, like, you're good. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, if anything, it was going to be high, you know.
You're zinging
A
it in
few
there.
of them were strikes. Like, and I, like, all I wanted to do was get it there.
Yes.
I'm not trying to like impress anybody with a strike. I just wanted to get it there. And so I was trying not to like amp myself. I didn't want to be like practicing all day. Like I was just trying to like, okay, I know I can do this. So I'm just going to go do it.
Yeah.
So just went on with like a normal day. And then all the like pomp and circumstance happens and all the build up. And, you know, my parents, like my mom drove in town and my aunt and uncle came to watch. And we did the batting practice thing, and everyone's asking how I'm feeling. And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm just going to throw a ball.
You were. I
I'm
mean,
like,
you were totally cool. You're like,
Just
it's fine. Everything's
I'm
fine.
just going to throw a ball. Like,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And then, you know, watched the anthem, and they told me what I was going to do. And then I walked out there, and I think it was like all of a sudden, like all of that thinking I was cool and like all of it all hit me. And it was like, damn, like I am not cool. Like I am panicking. Like I heard Chuck Morgan like telling my story. He said she works for the mom game.
I know. We got to shout
And
out.
I had like a moment where it was like my whole career almost like
I know.
it was like I was just fired. It was like he would have said it the freak like a few days ago.
Who
like,
needs the freak?
like
You got the
who needs
mom
the
game,
freak?
damn
Like
it.
who needs the ticket? Like who
Right.
needs anything? And then it was like 10 years cancer free, and he said it was an aggressive cancer, and then all these things, and then all these people are cheering, and then I saw my picture on the screen, and I just went like numb. Like absolutely numb, and my arm turned into rubber Gumby. Arm. and I was on the mound, which I'd never stood on before because I was trying to be all like confident.
Cool. I know. We had a conversation about this. We had a conversation.
And I didn't want to be made fun of for not being on the mound.
Right.
So I was like, I got this. Like every time I've thrown a freaking ball ever in my life, I've been able to throw it like a decent distance.
Right.
I can do this. And then the second I got all of these things combined, and I had not had one drink of alcohol. A few people were like, "Were you drunk?" I was like, "No,
no."
I'd been drinking water.
Maybe that
would have helped.
But I will say, this was not just a normal Tuesday night crowd. Like there was, Julie. It was so. I was so proud, and everybody was
You were
so
so
loud
sweet and supportive.
and I was so excited.
Thank you.
But I kept thinking, like, I'm looking at you out there, and I'm like, holy fuck. Like, this is a lot of people. A lot of people are watching her. And, like, if she, like, because I was thinking, like, how is she so calm?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy because I'd be, like, knitting buttonholes, you know? Not to be confused with knitting buttholes. But anyway, and I was like, I was so proud. I was so proud of you. And then you threw the fish. And then I remembered you laughing at me in Frisco at Dr. Pepper Ballpark. Because I was recording the whole thing, and I was like, okay, do I capture my real reaction of like laughing at her and be like, told you, it's fucking hard. It's a lot of pressure. But then I was like, close enough. It's good. You're good. You killed it. And then I sent the video to our social team, to Ashley and Adam.
Oh my God.
But it was, you killed, a moment of silence for all the worms you killed. Like Loganfield yesterday.
So, Ryder, when she comes
Oh,
back
yeah.
up,
What did Ryder
goes,
say?
Oh, just give me
"You're
shit.
supposed to hit that's not where it was supposed to go, Mom," or
Yeah.
something like
He was
that.
like, that's not how we practice. I mean, immediately.
Oh
like,
yeah, it was not how we
just start
practiced.
laying
That's
into me.
not how we
And
practice.
I was watching the video, like Kelly gives me a hug, and then his face just dropped. Okay, it gets better. So like when we were warming up, during batting practice, Kelly spotted Landry Jones, like former quarterback for OU in the NFL, and now he plays for the XFL or something.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
And
he
so
was
Kelly
there.
like went and said hi because Kelly's an OU guy.
Yeah.
And so he was like, and Kelly was kind of like, yeah, my wife's throwing the first pitch. And he was like, she's got a better arm than I do.
Oh dear.
To Landry Jones.
Oh,
so last night Kelly's like, I told Landry Jones you had a better arm than I do. Like Kelly was embarrassed. Like, so not only am I embarrassed, like I'm now feeling guilty because my husband's been like bragging to not only his friends but also Landry Jones.
To former OU quarterbacks. Wait till you see the arm on my wife, dude.
Like Kelly was trying so hard to be proud of me for the moment, but I could tell he was so disappointed. He's like, Jules, like you didn't do anything that we practiced.
I know.
And then like this morning he had a little bit of a different perspective, and I said, Kelly, you know what I learned out of all of this? Like how important the mental aspect is in sports. Like you can think that you have it and that you're good to go, and the second those lights turn on and
so
you lose it.
You do. So it's like we were talking about. So it's ironic that Jack Leiter started.
Yes.
Jack Leiter, God bless him. Like he has so much talent. He is going to be a good big leaguer. He just has not yet figured it out.
Yeah.
He's very young, whatever. But they were talking about on the broadcast about how, he's made 2 road starts. And then this was his first home start.
Yeah.
So 3 big league, starts. And one thing I was adamant with my producer, I was like, you have got to let me get in here. And he was like, okay. And so they're talking about Jack and, whatever. And, just the pressure and all that. And I was like, okay, guys, you have to they're like, well, this is his 3rd start. And I'm like, you have to remember though, his first 2 starts were in Detroit and Oakland, where there was probably a combined 6, 7, maybe 10 on the high end, 1,000 people. Now you're making your home debut with this team that drafted you. You're
really
the number
good
2
point,
pick overall.
Emily. Yep.
And now you've got, how many ever 50,000 people or how many ever that it's a different
friends, family, bosses.
And listen, that's what I will. The biggest lesson I've learned over the years of covering baseball, any sport or whatever, like just how much pressure there is and how hard that aspect of the game is to manage.
Yep.
It is that is the one lesson I am trying so hard to teach my kids. And I think sports is such a great way to learn it.
Yep.
But it also is fucking hard to learn it.
Yep.
That mental aspect is so
and
hard.
it can make you lose your
Right,
talent or your skill, not that I had much, in a second.
So think about Corey, and not even lose talent and skill, but just in a different sense. You look at Corey Seager and the article he did with Jeff Passan.
Yeah.
And he talking about the playoff run.
Yeah.
And he said he doesn't remember shit. Like he doesn't he's he
Just
blacked
like
out.
in
Like
his
I
own.
wish I would remember it. I wish I could.
You can
And,
black
like,
out in a good way,
in a
and you
good
can
way,
black out in a bad way.
100%. But I'm just saying, like, if for those who think like see ball, hit ball, like just whatever, it's not that simple.
Yeah.
There's so much that goes into it. And probably blacking out in a good way, like being able to tune everything out, has got to be way more productive than not tuning everything out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh, for sure.
and I'm dealing with it. Like I deal with it with my kids, and Hattie's just now starting to get into it because she's just now starting to experience failure, which for her little life, she's been pretty successful in everything she's done. She's been on winning teams. She's been one of the better ones on the team. And now she's starting to get to a point where, other people are starting to catch up with her. And, that's why I love about sports.
Yeah.
And the lessons that they
can
can
learn
teach
so
you.
much.
Yeah.
Because they have to have a
have
moment. Like, do I want to keep doing this if I'm
Right.
not winning all the time? Like,
Right.
how much do I love it? You got to
Yep.
search
Yeah.
deep within yourself,
Anyway,
right?
that probably wasn't a good parallel.
No,
but I'm
I
just
think
saying,
it really
this is why I
is.
love sports so much.
It really is.
It's full of so many valuable lessons.
Yes.
Whether they're, lessons. They're all lessons to learn from.
Yep.
Whether they're positive or negative.
And
that's the
I was
biggest thing.
listening on the way here to Mike Bassett talking about Jack Leiter.
I was
and
listening to the same thing.
Yes, and talking about how he showed, or like basically said no, was calling no to pitches that Jonah Heim was showing him, like, I'm not comfortable with doing that right now. At the big, showing that he was nervous, showing, whatever. And I was thinking about myself. I was like, that's how I felt. Like, I can only imagine, like, the way I felt times a million.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a professional pitcher and this is your rookie season and you're supposed to do this, you're getting paid all the money. Like, I'm doing it because I had cancer. Like, and everyone's there to just kind of say yay.
Right.
I can't imagine.
No.
And so it was really cool. It was really embarrassing. It was, and I like had a moment like walking off. I'm like, what just happened?
I know.
I'm like, how did that happen?
No, but it's like I told you, because you texted me after, and I was like, it's not about your arm. It's about your story. And that's what it was about. And that was beautiful.
Well,
and I loved getting to see you. And you know what, to be honest, like, and this might sound like a backhanded compliment, but I would much rather you have gotten that spotlight, that recognition, and failed at that pitch in front of that giant crowd than like one that was like sparsely attended. You know what I mean? That was like, oh, less pressure. So to me, it's like more people got to know about Julie and her story and what she's overcome. If you're asking for that and a bad pitch, or 1/10 of those get to see you in that light, and you nail the first pitch, I think
sweet.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, that's sweet. And I did love that I think that like took me back too when they introduced me as the mom, like being a part of, like, that's my job, like,
I know.
Because it was like, man, we like built this and that's really cool. And they're announcing it in front of all these people. And I was hoping people would be like, oh, what's that? Like,
I know.
Let's go find it. And then they associate you with that and you're there and you're right there on the field. And it was just this moment where I just lost all like feeling in my body.
No. It happens to the best of us. Well, I'm proud of you, honey. You never
Sorry
know.
to all the worms and their families.
Moment of silence for the worms. Bless their hearts. Yes. Okay, we got one more thing to discuss, or actually two more. What's on your feed and what's in your crawl, which are one and the same. This week, brought to us by our friends at Early Bird CBD. We all know how I feel about Early Bird CBD. It is literally, now I'm like, I hope they're always partners with us. Because like last night I was tired. Yeah, oh, so much. So last night I get home, there's no Stars, no Mavs. And I'm like, I just want to go to bed. But I know that I still need to decompress. And usually the best way for me to do that is just to sit and have a glass of wine, like, go through some things, get right in my head, get ready for the day tomorrow. But I was like, I just really want to get in bed. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? Like, I'm going to bypass a glass of wine, hanging out with the dogs, and I'm going to put them in their crate, and I'm just going to go get in bed. I'm going to pop some Early Bird CBDs. I'm going to take off my makeup, and then I'm going to get in bed. And it works.
It knocked you out. I should have done that because I had terrible sleep.
I mean, it just literally is. I mean, it has a hint of THC to give you just that kind of like calm zen. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, it's totally changed my sleep. It's amazing. So you can get them at so many stores here in the DFW area. I do have a list. Sunflower Shop.
Yep,
Hiatus
spots.
Yep, Roy Pope in Fort Worth, Toasted Coffee, Davis Street Mercantile, Richardson's Health Food, and Ann's Natural Grocery. We love Early Bird, and you guys know we don't really talk about or endorse or partner with products and services and businesses we don't believe in, and Early Bird is so very much at the top of my list as far as allowing me to function in my high stress life. So our code is the Mom Game.
Yep, all caps.
Yep, you can enter that at checkout, get 20% off of your first order online. Even if you've purchased before, you can do it again one time on an a la carte order. So we love the folks over at Early Bird CBD for their partnership and for their products. Praise Jesus.
Yes.
Okay, so what's on your feet? I did want to talk one thing. We did have Mother's Day, obviously, since we last met. And speaking of baseball,
I know.
I mean, my child made me bawl like a baby. So Henry, I was taking Henry to his tournament on Sunday morning. So we get up and we're kind of getting stuff ready. We had some friends in town. So I was like, okay, we got to get going, bud. Like, let's get your water ready, whatever. And so he's like, Mom, will you loosen me up? Will you warm me up before the game? And I was like, can we just not, do you want to just do it at the ballpark? Like, we get there an hour early, like plenty of time to warm up. And he's like, no, I mean, I really want you to just get me loose before we go. Cause we still had to drive like, 40 minutes. I was like, okay. I mean, at that point I was like, fine, whatever you want. Like, if you feel like this will help you. So he's like, yeah. I said, do you want Dad to do it? And he's like, no, I really want you to do it. And I was like,
had a plan.
I was like, okay, Bob. So we go out in the front yard and I get my glove and, he's like, okay, I'll go back here. You stay right there. And I was like, okay. So I, get ready to catch it. And so I catch it and he said, look at the ball, Mom. And I was like, oh, Bob. And then I read what he wrote on this fucking baseball. And I was like, oh my God. So I like read it and I'm like just tears just start flowing down my face. And then he goes, I didn't have any of my own money. And so I wanted to get you something. And I was like, oh my gosh. He was like, do you like it? And I was like, I really do. Like, I mean, I couldn't
I'm
even,
crying.
I was dying. Like,
Yeah,
it
it was
the
so
sweetest
sweet.
thing that he said, like the sweetest words
Yeah.
written on a baseball, which like for us is just like our, it's our, I mean,
It's a love language.
it's our connection.
Yeah.
I mean, it's our thing. I mean, we talk about other stuff, obviously, but like,
But like,
I don't know.
Your
It's
job
j-
and
yes,
his favorite
right.
thing.
Yes. And so
Yeah.
like for him to give, I just was like, I don't know. I just was like, I mean, I wanted to be like, where on earth did you get this idea? Like, and I mean, I love my husband, but there's zero. I mean, he thought of this on his own. And the whole execution of it, like, I just thought, well played, kid.
It was so cute because you have to. I mean, there's stitches, so you have to like
you
write
had to go.
all around.
I know. It was
In the sweetest words, like he doesn't know how to you do everything and ask for nothing in return, which is so true of moms, right? And a lot of kids don't recognize that.
I know. He was, I mean,
Like
I
moms
just was
do
like,
everything and ask for nothing in return.
I know.
Besides
I know. Anyway,
just
best-
being a good kid. Yeah.
I mean,
it was so sweet.
it was really sweet. Like I was really, really, like I was so impressed.
And then you were like melting.
Oh, I bawling. I mean, literally like, like ugly crying, like gasping for breath. We had friends in town, and I like go back and I'm like, okay, we're gonna go. And they're like, oh my God, what's happening? And I was like, look at this, what Henry did. And anyway, it was super, super sweet.
Aww.
It was a wonderful Mother's Day. So that was something on my feed that I was really, really. So I did post it. I thought it was really sweet.
It was so
I
sweet.
loved it. But we got to end before we get to our guest. We have to end by talking about Harrison Butker.
Yes, that's what everybody's talking about.
I mean, it's too bad we don't have more wine.
I know,
because
right?
What in the actual
Yeah.
F is this guy doing or talking about? So what should we do here, Ash? Should we carve out a place?
I'll play it. So we'll cut to it real quick, and
so
then
cut to it here so
and-
everyone can know.
Yeah.
So which clip are we using? Are we using just the one without the TikTok lady? Because I did like her.
Yeah,
But
that's
you'll
fine.
find the one like cut down.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're just gonna give you a brief, like, what is it, like a minute 30?
Yeah. First, I want to know who the F is this man.
Right. Yes. We'll
That
get to
thinks
all of
he
that.
is-
So
can
let's
talk like this.
insert here the commencement speech. What university is he at?
Benedictine.
Benedictine.
It's Benedictine. It's in
Catholic
Kansas.
University.
Oh, okay. Okay. All colleges are great. So here's Harrison Butker, a portion of his commencement speech at Bennington.
Yep, here it goes.
Done. Okay.
For the ladies present today, congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now, about to cross this stage, and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school would convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
So, first of all, who the fuck is Harrison Butker?
Well, I know. So he's the kicker for the Chiefs.
Okay. I knew I had heard his name.
Yeah.
But like when you texted me this morning and you're like, oh, we should look at the Harrison Butker clip or whatever it's going, it's pretty much gone viral and whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, that name rings a bell, but I don't really know exactly who he is.
Yeah, he's the kicker for the Chiefs, and obviously winning the Super Bowl, like he got a little bit more notoriety, and then he was on the field after the game, after the Super Bowl win, talking with Taylor Swift, and you could see her saying, like, you were amazing, you could see their, like, people were lip reading their conversation, she was being so sweet to him, and I feel like that's how even more people knew who he was.
Okay.
Because he was in the Taylor Swift aura.
So was he the one that she was like, I'm so happy for you?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't never know who that was.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, she only talked to a couple people on the field.
I wonder what Taylor has to say about comments
Right?
such as these.
Well, and he brought her into the speech as well. There was another line.
Oh, do tell.
There was another line that was just referencing something his teammate's girlfriend says, and it was like a line about something she says in her Bejeweled song. I forget. It was something that wasn't tying it into anything political, but he was just referencing one of her lyrics, just basically trying to tie Taylor Swift, like, I know Taylor Swift, like trying to say, like,
So after he pretty much said that your greatest joy in life should be building a home, he then proceeded to quote Taylor Swift.
Right. Yeah. So
my point is like,
Right.
he was trying to align with Taylor Swift, even though what he said, the quote from her had nothing to do with what he had said.
right.
But he was trying to, like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
say, look, I'm cool because
Right. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
trying to use her popularity to.
So yeah,
him
I have
up.
so many questions or comments or thoughts or rages about stuff like this. It's just, first of all, and Ashley, I was thinking this the very second you texted it. It's very easy for you, Harrison Butker, NFL player who makes I don't know
$850,000 a year.
$850,000 a year. To say that, like, this woman, she's just supported me and she's embraced this role of homemaker. Okay, great. I mean, that's easy when you're an NFL player and you
Oh
make
wait,
a
no, $4 million a year.
Okay. Anyway, it doesn't like the point is like you Harrison, buddy, you don't have any grasp of reality. Maybe like you need to like step back from the tee, get away from the footballs for a minute, take a look around at what's going on with other people that don't kick footballs for a living in the NFL and make millions of dollars a year. That first of all, for a lot of families, homemaker is not exactly in the cards.
Yep.
Secondly, not everyone wants to be a homemaker.
Yep.
A lot of us feel like we have important jobs in addition to being a wife and a mother.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you think that like that is that's when your wife's life became complete and when she started living was when she got to be your fucking homemaker.
When she started living.
Wow. God bless you, dude.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I'm trying not to be like too like woman power, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, you're just out of, like, it's been a long time since I've seen someone this out of touch with reality. Like, oh, baby boy.
Very
I'm
out of touch.
so
And basically
sorry.
saying to all these people who have just worked so hard to graduate from college.
It's been a
like,
ton of money.
A ton of money. Like, oh, that's so cute.
It's
Like,
so cute. Just,
in a little while, you're going to learn that the only thing you care about is being a wife and a mom, and all of that stuff you worked for isn't going to matter, and your life's not truly
Yeah.
going to begin until you get to be a wife and a mom, and all that shit that you've done isn't going to matter anymore.
yeah.
You know, and saying, like, having the balls to say that
Read
to these
the
people that
room,
recently
dude.
graduated.
Read the room. These
I
people
mean-
have been working their asses off to earn a degree, and you're just like,
Yeah. And like,
Ugh.
I have like two like thing. Like, so he also went off on, I think probably people had lost maybe any sort of respect maybe they had for him in his speech, because he did preface all of this with a lot of political, like he went on like IVF, abortion, COVID-19, bashing Joe Biden, like it was all political.
What are we doing?
Politically laced, like in a commencement speech. And so maybe like your takes on being a wife and mother aren't like you have like some sort of motive, I guess, in doing this speech. It's not really to give people advice on how to live their
not
life.
what a commencement speech is.
No.
That's not what a so he it was really weird, but this quote is the one that has definitely taken off. It has a lot of people pissed, and I've seen like people, I mean, he had like anti LBG, I always mess it up, LBGTQ stances. So like the city of Kansas City is now saying like we distance from him.
Yeah.
There's rumors that he might like lose his job. Like,
okay, so right fast, I just want to bring this up because you mentioned Kansas City. So also the same week, Patrick Mahomes, who is, one of the most influential, well-known humans on the planet, and is also his teammate.
Yep.
And is also part owner in the Kansas City Current, which is a women's professional soccer league.
NWSL.
And Brittany was a former soccer player, wasn't she?
Yeah.
His wife. So they're super passionate about this. And where was he? Oh, Time. He was one of the Time 100 whatever
People of the Year.
People of the Year. And he was at the gala, made a toast, and during the toast, he says, I'd like to raise a glass to a new era in sports, an era when the women's game is finally getting the attention it deserves. So you've got the juxtaposition of one of the most legendary quarterbacks, players in the NFL during this time, right now, saying things like that are lifting up women, supporting women, all that kind of stuff. And then you've got this kicker, a kicker. Making comments like this, that his wife's life began when she became a homemaker to him.
Yep.
Like, what on the actual planet are we doing? What is happening? Like, like I said, I don't want to, cancel anyone or whatever. I just feel like this guy is so incredibly out of touch. Like, I don't know if we're able to bring him back in touch. I don't know.
I don't think so. He's gone. So he
he's-
probably needs to lose his microphone.
Yeah.
Or anything that's elevating him to be able to speak in front of a crowd or have an audience, which is probably what the Chiefs. Can you imagine the Chiefs PR people right now?
Oh my God!
Like, we
you've
probably
got
don't want
this-
you going out to sign autographs and
Again,
talking to kids at an elementary school.
We've got
anytime
this
soon.
dream. We have a dream. He is a dream.
That's-
Patrick Mahomes is literally a dream.
Yep.
Like any organization, any PR firm, that dude knows what he's doing, and he's not doing it to be a dream. He's doing it because he's a good dude, whatever. So you've got this guy who's up here doing all the things, aligning with people, doing good things, trying to do good things himself, and then who's like one of the most high-profile players, if not the most, in all of the NFL. And then you've got your kicker running out here. Who did the Cowboys have? Wasn't it like Mike Vanderjack? No, it was when it was the Colts. Remember when he was with the Colts? Mike Vanderjack was with the Colts, and very similar. You had Peyton Manning, who was like at the peak of his.
Kickers are like, look at me.
And then and Peyton Manning said, and then we got this idiot kicker out here talking about blah blah blah. We need to pull that out. That's so funny. So it's very similar.
Yes.
And listen, everyone's entitled to your opinions and your thoughts, but also if you're going to share them on a very public forum like that in a very public setting, you also have to be prepared for the criticism that comes with it, and people will respond to it accordingly.
Yep.
And that's what we've done.
Well, and I was going to say, I think that people tend to, because these guys are elite athletes, throw them up on this pedestal of, they're a role model, when not every single one of them is meant to be.
No, nor do they want them. Most of them don't want to.
Exactly.
But like, I'm not trying to have Harrison Butker give me a commencement speech. Like, okay.
Yeah, that's kind of on the college. Like, what are you doing?
Right, yeah, this is all you've got. It's because he can kick footballs through some uprights. You're gonna let him give your commencement speech?
Yeah.
Like, did he go there? Like, what?
No, he went to Georgia. So Benedictine is in Kansas. So I'm assuming that was and he's Catholic. So I'm assuming that was the
like they knew their message. His message would sort of.
But even then, like that doesn't really align. A lot of that stuff didn't align with the Catholic Church.
So, but my whole deal is, if I would have been in that audience, I walked out.
Yeah.
Like, I think
Can
I
you
would have.
imagine?
No.
Graduating to go get in fucking badass job and someone's telling you that. Nothing matters until you're barefoot in the kitchen making me pancakes.
Well,
So I
you know,
kick.
the average family makes $74,000 a year, and you need $246,000 to live a comfortable life.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
the mother effer makes $4 million
but I will
a year.
say-
he just doesn't have any concept of reality. Like, he's just out of touch.
He doesn't, but I will say there's a contingent that thinks that women, like, part of the downfall of men is women trying to work. Like, and women, like, I mean, I've talked to a guy. I've talked to a guy that's like, why do you think
This
that?
is gonna. This
Oh,
is
I
gonna
know.
Be like,
I've talked to a guy that's like, why do you think there's so many sad, lonely, depressed men that like end up doing bad things?
Well, it's your own fault, man.
Right? Like, because
is that because you're working?
it's because
we're
like
working?
women aren't
'Cause
just
women
women
have-
aren't just looking for men anymore.
Yeah.
Oh.
Isn't that insane? I know. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
I think we need to table this discussion.
It's a big
for next
discussion.
week.
It's a great discussion because there's
Wait,
like
can we
there's
get that guy
definitely
on our
some
show?
legs to it.
Let's
Maybe.
not.
Can we get let's get that guy. No, it's important to hear. Maybe he's got some valid points. I mean, he thinks we're just as wrong as
I
we
think
he is.
it's more not just like that guy, but I think it's representative of of certain people that
100%.
that do feel that way, and that's fine. But it's crazy.
It's insane. Yeah.
It's totally crazy.
We will.
And it makes you respect the men and the husbands that do appreciate
Oh my gosh.
like, women for wanting to, encourage them to do whatever they want to do, whether it's stay at home, because
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that, or work or do both. Like,
Yeah,
come
here's
on.
the deal, dude. Like, I'm contributing financially to my family.
Yeah.
Like, fuck all the way off.
Right.
Sorry. Like,
yeah, and then there's a little less burden on you to do that. 'cause-
right. But it's like, yeah,
I mean,
love-
on the men to do that,
Right,
because you
I-
hear the men also other side of it where they're like, they don't do
So
anything.
stressful,
And I
yeah.
have to make all the money.
yeah.
That's one of the main reasons men commit suicide.
Yeah.
Is financial
Yeah, it's a lot of
stability.
pressure.
Or loneliness, according
Yeah,
to this other
no,
guy.
I mean, but yeah, it's like, hey, newsflash.
It's all too much for
I'm
what.
not doing this shit to be cute.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to earn a living and
Yeah.
provide for my family. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, Harrison Butker. Like,
It's
again,
so funny.
F all the way off. Like,
It's so funny. It's a
you're
great
so.
talking point.
It is a. I mean, I couldn't. When you sent that, I was like, I
Yeah.
can't. Like, is this a joke? Like,
Yeah.
is he doing a bit? Like, what?
It's
On
funny too.
what planet did he think that was going to go over
Yeah.
well?
I
a
laugh
very
thinking-
small planet, far, far away.
I laugh thinking about how like Travis and Taylor are taking all this into it. Because
Oh,
he threw in a Taylor Swift quote.
and she's probably like,
She's like,
"That
what?
motherfucker."
Like as she's
Better
over
leave
there,
me out of your.
like one of the highest paid working women in the world.
She's one of the most
She's
empowered,
one of the highest paid people in the world.
Yeah. Yes.
empowered and empowering women. Like that's.
But I
her-
mean working.
yeah,
like,
but
yes,
that's her whole bit.
Yes.
is like,
working hard.
yeah, and let's lift women up and like let's
Yes.
go girls and all that rah shit. Like, fuck.
Right. And working her fucking ass off.
No kidding. Okay, all right, but we'll get more into
We'll
that.
table
I
that.
want to get that. I want to get that friend of yours in.
I feel like you might be a little bit of a hillbilly. That's the
Yeah.
only reason I said no.
Well, I
Sounds
mean,
like
we
a
don't
very
need to label
hillbilly
anybody.
way to go.
We don't need to label anybody anything. I'm not saying any of that. I'm
Well, we
just
could open
saying
it up if someone's listening and feels that way. I don't really want to pinpoint the one person I know
that you
that
know
feels that way.
that said that.
But yeah, if anybody wants to,
If you can help me understand what planet Harrison Butker is living on, please
Yeah.
reach out.
we
Thank
can
you.
have a conversation.
Thank you. All right,
Yeah.
let's move on. Harrison Butker has taken entirely too much of our
He
time.
has.
All right, we got a special guest. Here we go. Bless.
Let's welcome in now Michael Gold. And Michael and I have been going back and forth here for a little while because once I heard about the company that Michael and his friend and partner in this company, Mike, came up with, it's called Future Fans. I just really wanted to dive into it a bit and share it with our audience. It is very cool. First of all, thank you so much, Michael, for joining us today, all the way from Columbus, Ohio. How are you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me.
And can you just give us a quick overview of Future Fans and kind of how it came to be for you guys?
Sure. Future Fans is a consumer brand that we created that helps little kids become big fans of the sports we love. I'm a sport fan dad, and I wanted to bring my young kids into the world of sports, and I found that it was a little too hard because they need to understand the rules in order to engage, and that's what I wanted to try to solve. And so Future Fans is a set of consumer boxes for a sport So think Future Fans Football, and it's an experience in a box around learning and loving the game. And it's all led through stories and parallel games and experiences. So it's super kid friendly.
So how did you kind of get this thing off the ground? I've started a couple of businesses, and it takes a long time, both of which have failed, by the way, in terms of like products. So how do you get something like that off the ground? And did you know kind of what you were in for? Were you surprised by the challenges that kind of were in front of you?
Yeah, so, anytime you're starting something, I'm sure you've experienced, you're like really confident and excited, which you have to be in order to like climb that hill. And so there's certainly things that we've encountered that, are unexpected or challenging. But, for us, it's really mission driven around wanting to help parents and kids connect around this really unique thing that is sports, and around that community of learning life lessons and having these amazing memories. And so that's what really motivates us each day. And so how we got started is, with our first product, Future Fans Football. And so we could focus really narrowly on that one product and figure out, how to do it exactly right, testing it with a bunch of kids, interviewing tons of parents, and then launching it in the market. And we launched last football season, and have gotten some great results. We won 6 awards from parenting and other educational organizations, and kind of day by day just kind of learning and clawing. And we've also gotten great engagement from the NFL and NFL teams, which has really helped us in terms of credibility and starting to gain some awareness in the market.
And I love people who see a problem, whether it's in their life or out there in the world, and decide that they want to do something about it. And this sounds like it was something that was maybe a bit of a personal thing for you. And then you decided to take it upon yourself to not only solve the problem for you, but maybe a lot of other dads and moms and parents that are in the same situation.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it was my co-founder who's the Bengals fan. And right in these moments where, they hadn't been in the playoffs or won a playoff game for like 3 decades, you have these like highs of just incredible life-changing excitement that you're sharing with your family and your communities. But at the same time for him, his daughter at the age of 5 wouldn't engage. And so he just wanted to find a way to connect with her around that shared experience. And as you said, it was motivating for us to want to go out and solve that problem. My kids are a little bit older at 13 and 10, and I'm a Michigan grad and a huge Michigan fan, living in Columbus. But, the last couple of years have been great. And so being able to share some of those same, really exciting moments, in winning the national championship game and just, having those things to connect with, it felt like a problem worth solving and something that we wanted to spend our time and energy doing.
You told us about the concept, but so what exactly is, if I said I want to be a consumer of Future Fans, what can someone expect? Is it a book? Is it, like you said, the box? I mean, what can we expect?
Yeah, so it's a box with a set of experiences, and it starts by opening the box, and it's storybook led. And so you meet campers and counselors at this fun summer sport day camp called Camp Rallyhoo that we created. And the campers are there to learn about the camp. But instead of doing it directly, they get to play fun camp games. And so I'll give you an example. In downs, and football is really that key concept that unlocks an understanding. But for a young kid, the word down doesn't really mean anything, right? Are you thinking up? Are you thinking sideways? And so we said, let's teach downs in a separate, different way. And so we created a ring toss game, and you have 4 tries to throw a beanbag from one hoop to the next. And if successful, you advance, and the camper gets 4 more tries or another first try. If they get to the last ring, they get 6 points. So we've embedded the concept of downs, but in a fun ring toss game, okay? And so the campers and the counselors play that game at camp, and the grown-up parent and child read about it. And then they are directed to pause and open a surprise box within the experience, and they get their own circle toss game. And so what that does, it's this advent calendar-like experience. So it keeps the kids engaged, wanting to read and learn more because they get a surprise at the end of each chapter. And it helps teach young kids in all these different ways, right? And these are kids 4, 5, 6, 7 years old in these kid-friendly ways. So if your kid enjoys reading and they learn, from auditory and looking at pictures, there's a way they can learn the concept of downs there. If they enjoy playing, then they can actually play the ring toss game, which reinforces the rules of downs, but with paired play. We also incorporate rhymes and mnemonics. And so we introduce a 2-player version of this ring toss game. And at the 4th try, there's a rhyme that the counselor teaches the campers. Can I make it? Should I try? On the 4th, I must decide. And so all these different ways that help young kids learn about the game of football. And again, the rules are just a vehicle to unlock an understanding and then be able to enjoy the game and create those memories together.
It's really cool. Y'all were kind enough to send a box over to my family, and my kids are like right in that age range you're talking about. I have a 5-year-old girl, a 8-year-old boy. We watch a lot of football. The boy's picking up on it, just from watching, but my little girl doesn't really know yet. And it was fun to take them out there to play the game and to kind of see their mind, the light bulb going off. Like, okay, this ring toss game is actually just like in football, in the downs. And you guys have the fun touchdown dance celebration too that they were doing. So I just thought it was really cool. And I understand you have some plans to take this into other sports as well, not just football, right?
Yep. So our soccer box is available for pre-order now and will ship in July. And so it's a similar approach, an experience in a box with a parent and child. And there's a soccer week storybook at this sport day camp. Of course, we teach different rules. So in soccer, it's about, goal kick versus corner kick. Offside, extra time, all those things around soccer. But again, the goal is to unlock an understanding of the game so kids can enjoy playing it and enjoy being fans.
Okay, I'm a baseball girl, so how are you gonna tackle this baseball learning experience?
That's a tough one. I was sitting at my daughter's softball game this week, and she's plays elementary rec softball, and there's a lot in baseball to explain. And so anytime we start in a new sport, we try to come up with what are those 5 or 10 key things, that you need to unlock to understand the game. And then how are you going to teach them in parallel ways? So certainly in baseball, the pitcher and the catcher, the strikes and the balls, that's where it starts, running around the bases. So look forward to trying to dissect that one, but thinking like, how are we going to get the infield fly rule?
That's what I was just about to ask you. I was just about to say, give me your infield fly lesson. Let's go.
Right. Or
strike.
Force out. It's right. Or when a force out happens in one base and then that changes the dynamics in the other. And that's an important point about the product. Right, there's a sport fan parent like you all in the house, and you can answer any questions that, a young child has about the game. What we're trying to do is provide that baseline understanding because often kids just don't know where to start. And so we take kids, let's say a 3 out of 10 with that basic understanding, and then that sport fan parent can take it from there. And we have things in an activity book that the kids get at the end of the experience, like a game watch bingo, right? And so if you're watching a football game, you might see a 2-point conversion, right? Or you might see a blocked field goal. Those aren't things that we cover in the initial product, but we have ways to introduce those ideas. And then the sport fan parent can explain what a 2-point conversion is directly.
Awesome. And we're excited that we'll be working with you guys to give away some of these boxes to our listeners. So we just want everyone to stay tuned to both of our socials. If you could call out your social accounts here as well, and then tell people where they can find the boxes too if they want to go find one.
Yeah, absolutely. Our social is at Future Fans Sports. Today you can buy this on Amazon and our website, futurefans.com. Just hopefully everybody just had a wonderful Mother's Day. And of course, Father's Day is coming up. And so we think this is a great, present for, any sports fan dad with young kids. be it football or otherwise. It's a great activity to do away from screens and connect around a shared passion, which is sports, and hopefully leads to a lifelong of memories together.
Well, Michael, thanks so much for your time. Such a great concept, and wish you nothing but the best. And if you need any consult on the baseball pack, just let me know. I'm here to help.
I'll definitely be reaching out for that one. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
If we're ending the show. We end our show every show the same way. Whatever. We end the show the same way every week. And that is by looking into our camera, throwing up their peace signs, and saying "Mom game out," if I can get those words out of my mouth. So you look at your computer camera, throw up the peace signs, and say "Mom game out" to send us off. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Mom game out.
Game out.
Mom game out.
The Mom Game is proud to partner with local Geico offices, Victoria Elliott, proudly serving your local community.